Alright folks, so we're into game number 2 in the series in the Deathmatch World Cup 5. We've got Hole in the Mole, this time on Portuguese up against AR12 on Spanish. As we can see, AR12 building very standard, buildings immediately around the town centre, while Hole in the Mole's got plenty of space between all these structures, probably to try and keep his opponent from actually coming in and picking anything off at first. But it is an extra amount of walk time, so you've got to be careful of that. This builder is going to fall here, so Hole in the Mole, things are not great. Dropping that initial villager, another one being low. But he is going to possibly pick off a villager or two here with AR12, so we've got 7 vills for AR12, 6 for Hole in the Mole. A lot of barracks going up versus a lot of stables. Paladin versus Halberdier. Halbs actually do win on cost significantly, but they can be overwhelmed by the Paladins. Bearing in mind the Paladins can always outrun them as well and just get in and snipe some vills first. Another one falling there and some more over there over the back. A bit of a bad spot. These guys are all sort of walled in. So Hole in the Mole playing now hyper defensively after sort of having everything placed a little bit further away than normal. AR12, you know, playing a bit more standard with Deathmatch. The building slowly being worked around in a radius. It just ever expands. When these villagers having to garrison again, so this is costing Hole in the Mole a lot of build time. It's having to go for another castle really early. The first one though is always going to be quite useful in the initial defense that it offers, and now there's an organ gun out as well. The perk of having the castle, I suppose. Got a third one out, coming out soon as well. These things take a lot of build time. A lot of villagers spent on that, while AR12 really split villages up across a lot of different buildings here. Town centres, castles, houses, a couple of extra production buildings. There's even units back to defend at the moment. So Hole in the Mole, I think, is ahead on score largely because he's down on having villages and production buildings, and he just isn't spending as much as his opponent. Looks like AR12's even comfortable with trying to snatch this low ground if he can. Adding in bombards just to try and pick off the organ guns too, probably. But Champion Paladin, it's going to be quite hard for just the Halbs to deal with that as a front line alone, and the organ guns are going to need something else to try and help shepherd them and stop these, stop the Paladins just from sniping them all like that. A very, very rough initial fight there. A lot of AR12's units getting some really good kills there. Hole in the Mole now, down on score. Quite a defensive position, 4 castles already here in the base. Yet it's so small, and I think this is the only town centre this time for Hole in the Mole. Playground town centre's finishing up here for AR12, so this is great for him. We've got a defensive castle there here, so these guys, the Halbs, will be able to do a little bit of damage in the fact that they're going to delay some gathering, but beyond that, they're not really going to pick anything off. They're just going to give Hole in the Mole a bit of intel as to what's going on. But these monks might fall, so you might get a little bit of value out of that in the end. Slowing down the relic gathering from your opponent. And now AR12 taking another fight, and I think he's split everything up enough that he might be able to pick off the organ guns, and he's managed to get past a lot of the Halb front line. So the organ guns have to retreat. And they're mostly all getting picked off from the Halbs. Now having to chase the Paladins once again, while there's plenty of conquistadors just to blow through them. Another wave of champions to back this up. So we got 65 vills for AR12 to 21 for Hole in the Mole, who this time is playing a lot more lax on town centres compared to last game, who really managed to pull ahead for a little bit with a better economy. And now AR12 pushing with a whole bunch of trebs. Having to retreat briefly because Hole in the Mole has managed to destroy another army. Buy himself some time. Transition to the hand cannoneers, going to make it tough because he's massed up more of them than there are hand cannoneers. Already has organ guns and bombard, so he's really able to snipe backline units with ease or just put pressure on the front line. And now AR12 has to look at responding in kind or creeping with castles or something. Split pushing somewhere. Good Hole in the Mole. Eager to try and really layeth the smackdown and punish the initial greed with trying to take the low ground town centres. This will not last terribly long. And so AR12 now has to add some houses, I think. I know he might already have enough. Ooh. And the trebs focusing on the organ guns now. So the organ guns having to find that they're going to have to back off here. Being picked off by trebuchets. The 5 of them spamming is sort of like an Onaga, really. That's a lot of helps to come in and clean this up. Bearing in mind there are Onagas here for AR12. So the helps aren't really able to get on any of the siege there. Or too many of the conquistadors. Now Hole in the Mole. I'm going to try and take out another one of these town sounders. The organ gun's only just outranging the town centre. So he's going to have to use that trebuchet to get it to work. Try and slow down AR12's gathering and try and, you know, pick off those town centres. Just disrupt the eco. So AR12 gathering a lot of this low ground gold, even with all this fighting going on. He's trying to claim this lower side. He's got all this top side gold. The central gold now is sort of under control of Hole in the Mole, but he's still down gold mines 3-1 in the center. So he's going to be 2-2 with snatching this one back. But AR12 now looks to be really comfortable with all this siege. He's got a mix of trebs and bombard cannons and some range to help defend it. AR12's even looking at trying to chop out a lot of the wood on this lower side because he knows he's got map control on the top side, so if he can cut through all this, Hole in the Mole's really only forced onto the wood back here, and that'll run out pretty quickly. Hole in the Mole, 65 vils, AR12's up to 115 now as well. And yeah, he's sort of conserving all this middle wood because he can use it as a bit of a defense, and on top of that, you know, he can always come back and gather it later. You know, it's risk-free, or relatively low risk. Take it now, and punish his opponent for being so defensive. It's a nice... All the hand cannoneers, they're going to be able to pick off a few of these paladins before they all go down. Paladins, I do think ultimately counter them, so there will need to be some helps to back this up. Oh no, they are able to clean that all up. So the hand cannoneers focusing on the conquistadors before the trebs at this point, because, well, AR12 has those omegas and Hole in the Mole needs to clean them up first. It's an insane amount of production behind this for AR12. His eco looking really strong. Up to 120 villages already. Hole in the Mole slowly climbing, but he's only up to 85 now. And his own attempt at trying to take this lower side gold has now been cleaned up. So Hole in the Mole trying to stream forward with everything he's got, but he's running out of resources at this point. He's only got a handful of farmers, still below that 90 eco pop mark, while AR12 still getting eco tech up to, eco pop up to 124 vils. Stopping here. In terms of relics, AR12's actually managed to grab 4 of them. We got any relics here? We got a single Fatoria, but these things actually cut into the population. They cost 20 population here. So Hole in the Mole is basically, yeah, got 20 pop stuck in that. But I suppose it does generate a reasonable amount of gold and stone behind this. Some well-placed castles able to really deny too much pressure over there. Ooh, and Hole in the Mole losing these trebs that he was going to try and take out the town centre with this army. Not here to clean this up. This is really rough for him. AO12's going to pull ahead with that. And I think Hole in the Mole may have enough for this fight, but ooh, Paladins are going to be able to get straight onto the hand cannoneers. AR12's done a good job at focusing them down first. Now the Conquistadors can clean up the halbs. AR12's paying attention elsewhere. He wants to clean up the trebs over here. He's got plenty of units massed. So ultimately, Hole in the Mole does win that fight. I didn't think he would actually. I mean, at first I thought he would, then sort of thought AR12 was going to micro through it, but he sort of wasn't paying attention. But AR12 in the meantime has really massed up a solid force behind this. Hole in the Mole's able to actually stay slightly ahead on army pop, but his eco pop is constantly under threat now. He's actually AR12 up to 135. Hole in the Mole 116. Pretty impressive for him to get up to that under all this pressure, and he's going to try and harass AR12 around the map a little bit now. There's some side built rams here with some side built stables coming in as well. It's going to really put all this under threat. Hole in the Mole has to find some way to break this army. Adding in ARBs now. These guys, I don't think they actually outrange the Conquistadors. Oh, they only do just outrange the Conquistadors, and they don't outrange Onagers, so you got to be very careful against Onagers. AR12 streaming forward with his trebs, taking out a tower there. Oh, and the side-built rams here, now backed up with a couple of paladins, going to be able to take out houses in the castle with ease. A lot of these vills going to be under a lot of threat. AR12 still pushing around the map, but oh, this is nice. Hole in the Mole's actually found this, but might be a bit too little too late. I think the villagers might have even been evacuated before he turned up. And now he's got these guys just wearing away at a lumber camp when they could be defending, and GG, he's having to tap out of that one.